Hello, welcome to Writing Quest. My name is Brennan Pugh, and in today's video, we're going to talk about writing the victory of your novel. I got 5 great tips for you. Here we go. Huzzah! All right, so last week we talked about writing the climactic confrontation and how that all comes together towards the end of your story. So this is about writing the victory. Now, victory doesn't necessarily mean they won, which leads us into our first tip. Here we go. It doesn't matter if they win or lose. So the victory is kind of a little bit of a misnomer because it doesn't actually matter if they are victorious. What this can mean is, especially if you're in a series, they may win the battle, they may win part of the whole thing, but they don't win the war. They don't win the whole story. If it's the end of your series, maybe they do win the story and they win the war in the end. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter if they win or lose. What matters is that there is an ending to the climactic confrontation. Number 2, don't give the hero everything they want. So just because they win, even if they don't win, but just because they win, does not mean that they get everything that they want in the end. There's still things that maybe didn't happen. Maybe another character dies. Maybe they won part of it, but they lost another part. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything comes true for the hero and they live this great fancy life and it's all perfect and grand at the end. So don't give your hero everything that they want in the end. Number 3, the villain is defeated, at least for now. Now, this mostly applies to if you're doing a series. Obviously, if you're doing a standalone book, you want to defeat the villain and basically have the story concluded with that defeat of that villain. But if you're doing a series, the villain is defeated at least for now, meaning that they've stopped the current problem, but obviously when you go to the next books, you're gonna have more problems. This can also mean that the villain that maybe gets defeated in book 1 isn't the true villain. It could be a decoy. It could be just someone of lower rank who you think is the villain. It's a really great way to kind of lead your readers in one direction and then give them a little switcheroo at the end. So just because they defeated a villain doesn't mean they defeated the big bad villain, and it doesn't necessarily mean that won the whole thing. Number 4. Pair the sweetness of victory with the darkness that it took to win. Now, this kind of echoes what I said before, but what we're really talking about here is just because they won doesn't mean it all happened perfectly exactly how they wanted. So maybe they lost a friend, maybe they lost a parent, maybe they lost a whole group of people. I mean, whatever it could be, just because they won doesn't mean that it's all happy-go-lucky and everyone is frolicking at the end. You can pair the darkness with the victory, which in a way to me makes it seem like the victory matters more because you really feel like it really took something to win. It really took effort. It wasn't just like a plot armor situation where everyone gets to the other side and it's all just fine and it doesn't feel like the stakes actually mattered. If you take the darkness that it took to win and pair it with the fact that they won, you really understand how the stakes of the story and what it took to win and how these characters have changed through the process of being victorious. And number 5, this is the big one. Your hero fully accepts the lesson from the aha moment. So the aha moment is where they kind of learn the lesson, but maybe they haven't fully internalized it or they don't necessarily know what it means. And so the victory, they get through the climactic confrontation. The climactic confrontation continues teaching them about the aha moment. It teaches them about their conviction and what they're fighting for and all those things. So the victory is where finally the lesson of the aha moment firmly gets cemented for them. And this is where the character change that happens becomes a part of them. So going through a series of books, say, this is the big lesson, from book 1 really changes who the character is in book 2. And so it's that firm lesson of like, you learn what the stakes of everything are, then you go to the next book and they're a changed character. And so it really makes sure that you tie the aha moment from the moment the aha moment happens through the climactic confrontation into the victory. This is where it all comes together, where they fully learn what that lesson was. That's it for this episode of Writing Quest. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment down below. Let's talk about things, have a little chat about it. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Writing Quest. Huzzah!